What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Integrated Men's Network, the place to be able to know more about the manosphere as well, how to level up as a man. Now, in this video, we're going to be bringing in a good friend of mine, and we're going to be doing a reaction video to a new show that's coming about that I really think that a lot of you guys need to pay attention to because I feel that a lot of women are going to try to change the narrative of this whole thing. So let me go ahead and bring in a good friend of mine, that dude named Dave from the Jump Off Live podcast and also Boxing Now podcast as well. What's going on, Dave?
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm good. So, anyways, I told you about I'm going to do this reaction video,
Mhm.
and this actually show is going to be premiering in FX Network, and Hulu. And I told you about it the other day, but you haven't seen the trailer yet, right?
No, I haven't seen the trailer. You told me this idea about this show, and I'm like, oh, that sounds crazy. We gotta talk about this.
Definitely. So, for some of you guys out there who probably has been hidden in the bottom of the barrel and not aware of Kevin Samuels, if you guys are not, you should definitely check him out. But he was talking about this thing about the Thanos snap, right? And several times he tries to tell women, because a lot of women are going to say the narrative that we don't need men, right? And
Mhm.
they're pushing this narrative. And then all of a sudden, when Kevin Samuels does the Thanos snap and he says, man doesn't exist, what's going to happen now? And a lot of women starts freaking out. Well, I can go to the beach and get water from there. And he's like, well, you're going to die because that water's not meant to be drank. How are you going to get the food? And what's funny is he talks about, well, what's going to happen to the infrastructure, electricity, water, because men are the ones that are running those things, right?
Mhm.
So I really think that this particular show that's coming about is going to try to push the narrative that women don't really need men. And so it's kind of funny to me. So it's called The Why, right? So if a lot of you guys are not remembering your stuff about biology, the X and Y chromosomes, the Y chromosomes is what creates the man. So that's why the show is The Last Why. So let's go ahead and pop this up and take a look at it. And then we'll pause in between. And I want to be able to hear what you got to say, man. So here we go, right?
All right.
So it says here, a day like any other.
Okay.
Yep.
People going to school.
School,
Work.
day-to-day lives.
Yeah. Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. President, I'm fine.
And here it
Oh.
goes.
Oh, damn.
Yep. Your man, your child is dead.
Oh. Oh.
They're all gone. Thanos snap right there.
Huh.
They were all gone.
That means me and you, Mike.
Uh-huh.
Oh man. Oh.
So right there
Hold up.
alone, right? So see
Hold
what's
up.
going on? So you see the women just like freaking out, they're shocked, they're standing up, and then the men are gone. So who's gonna now pick up the bodies to cremate them? Who's now gonna be the one who's gonna, so everything stops. Everything goes on a standstill.
Hey, Mike.
And
They didn't show the one clip though. What if they were someone's getting it in? And the Thanos snap happened. They didn't show that clip.
and that happened.
Yeah, I mean,
that
we joke around about it, but in this show, I want to know if they're gonna show something like that. I'm kind of curious. Like, dun.
Well,
I'm sorry. I digress.
Well, actually, in the first part of the show, it was actually the part where the guy and a girl was in bed, but they weren't doing it. It was post-coital already,
Yeah,
So it was the hugging part.
Yeah.
But yeah. So here's the thing,
Mhm.
What's funny is there's not a lot of reaction videos on this particular show yet.
Okay.
And one of the reaction videos that I've seen so far is two girls, and the moment that they got done with the watching the clip, lo and behold, the first thing that one of the girls says is, well, see, I think they're over exaggerating, because if this thing happens, us women, we know what to do. That's what her reaction was. We know what to do.
Seriously?
Yeah,
that was in the first video you just found, that people just know what to do, huh?
Yep, that's right there. So okay, so now the guys are gone, right? So
Okay.
and you saw there's that pure shock that they have. So let's go
Right.
ahead and continue on with the show and see what else happens.
Okay. Oh, there's one dude.
One left. That's why it's the
And a
last
monkey.
Y.
Oh, there's always got to be a monkey.
The last Y.
Madam President, power plants will start to shut down.
Which
Oh,
city?
snap.
All of them.
Somewhere is the answer to how this all happened and how we fix it. Who are you?
Yorick.
You're reproductively interesting.
Wow.
So that right there like made me laugh, right? So
Yeah,
so
that's just
now-
on FX. You know, in real life, she wanted to say, you got the last dick left.
yeah, exactly, right? Or she, you're reproductively interesting, meaning she's saying like, please fuck me.
Mhm. Let's get
That's
down.
the last Y, right? And it's funny,
Mhm.
his name is Yorick, so the last Y, his
Oh,
last
and
name is
the-
Yorick.
In the Y chromosome, right?
Exactly.
Ah, see, you gotta use your
So-
third eye.
So so if you saw, so they're trying to do that if you saw the intersection on the city, it's like a Y also. So they're trying to
Yeah.
introduce the last Y. But that's the fun part is you start seeing what's happening. They're freaking out.
Mhm.
Then what Kevin Samuels was talking about regarding the what's going to happen to infrastructure. Now there's no men who is actually taking care of these electric plants and stuff like
Oh,
that,
yeah.
and they're all about to go down because it needs maintenance.
Oh, and something I can comment on. I work for a company that started the first Wi-Fi in the airplanes, and we were in the beginning of the infrastructure back in 2008. And literally all those cell towers, basically when you're thinking about the towers look like infrastructure, like the cell phone towers, we had 0 women on those
Mhm.
job sites going through Colorado, and then we'll be expanding throughout the entire nation once we grew to every airline. So I was kind of curious when you brought that up, and I knew for a fact because I was working with those sites, I didn't see not one woman at all on there. So if that would have happened in real life, you try to get your internet in airplanes, boom, it'd be a wrap.
Mhm.
That'd be
And-
one technology gone.
Exactly. And what's funny is, and especially nowadays, if you want to mess with kids, turn off the Wi-Fi and they all freak out.
And that's why I brought that up, because I'm
Mhm.
talking about the Wi-Fi and the planes, but you're talking about all the plants. Imagine how many women we actually have that actually works on the cell towers on the ground that provides us, Xfinity or XCOM or whoever is around the nation.
Mhm.
So if I'm saying that from a Wi-Fi air perspective, man, there is no internet in the game.
Exactly. And here's a thing, you're going to hear a lot of women complaining, well, there's not enough opportunity for us women in the STEM in the STEM field, science,
Mhm.
technology, all that stuff, right? And so what I start laughing is that, well, then get into it. If you sometimes you see people complaining about there's not enough women here, then I'm like, well, why don't you get into it? Well, another woman can do it. You know what I'm saying? And the
Mhm.
counter argument is like, you got, it's just that whole equality and outcome or equality for opportunity. They want equality and outcome, but they don't want to do the other parts. Why don't you push more women to do garbage handling, more women to handle this? You want an equal, you just want the top stuff,
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I mean, okay, fine, then get into it. But here's the thing, the Thanos snap that Kevin Samuels keeps on talking about,
Mhm.
when this happens, who is going to take over now? Where are you going to get the water? Who's going to be driving the transportation to distribute the food, with all the trucks? Who's going to be handling the rail system? Who's going to be handling all these
Who's
things?
gonna lift it?
Exactly.
Just I mean, and we're not just it's just a pure thing that we know is that there's a strength level distance why we see men in package handlers and in warehouses and things of that nature. Not trying to say anything bad, but that is the honest truth when we see these things here. So just a numbers game where one man may equate to 2 women possibly to certain jobs now.
And obviously the remark that most women are going to say, well, there's forklifts, right? They're going to say there's forklifts. They're going to say, well, a lot of women are stronger than men. Yeah, some of the CrossFit or butchy people, sure, that's perfectly fine. That's why what happens is when you see it in the show so far, you have that more tougher woman, for some reason is probably the main character to show because she's like walking tough in the center, right? She's probably going to be, there's going to be a few of those type of women. And so it's kind of crazy. So let's continue.
Wait,
on
before you go on, you
sure.
brought up forklifts. There's not many women that work on forklifts. I mean, just the maintenance of them too. The reason why I can say that though, before I got into like STEM, I'm in IT and technology as well. Mike, you brought that up. Is before that, I worked in, Menards. I worked in, this construction part, and you got to get your forklift license. Anybody can drive it. But when I was working the forklifts before I was working on the keyboards, who was maintaining all these things? I mean, I may be talking about some back in the 90s, but things may say change, but there was not one woman at all that I can remember in my 4 years that were working on the maintenance of these things. So it's very funny you brought that up, because I literally can say, no, that never happened.
And what they're gonna say is like, well, yeah, we can learn it. Of course, you can learn it.
Of course, yeah, everybody. I had to learn it too, but there's that learning curve, right, Mikey?
The learning curve, and the big problem is to become more, to be more equipped and know how to use it properly, and can you do it fast enough? Because as you're trying to learn, the worst part about it is like they're gonna start going together and they're gonna be like, well, you learn it, no, you learn it, and then by the time that they are learning, they're proficient in how to do these certain things, whether, let's just talk basic for forklifts, there's been a whole week of not learning, and the food's not being distributed, and people are dying. I
True.
mean, a perfect example is what happened with Texas with the snowstorm that happened.
Good,
People were locked out, and guess what? There's a bunch of men there. Men still existed around that time, and things stopped. Imagine when this happens. Women think that they can actually do it, which is kind of crazy to me.
That's a funny thing you bring up too, because we're talking about things that happen in perfect weather conditions. Imagine you lose all men and it's wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
That's one to think about there. Because if Texas couldn't handle it, both men and women, imagine you just rip the whole men out the game in this particular show here. In that particular situation with below 0 degree weather, and of course you're not handled to equip this, because this would never happen here before. You throw all these anomalies that can happen. It's like, oh, what do we do here?
And what's funny is like the show is, I think, of course, they have to be a little bit more PG-13 R rated just to be more TV. They showed the one person died dead in one of the cars, but there's millions of men, so they're scattered everywhere. Why are the bodies not rotting all over the place? At least show me something like like if you watch a zombie movie where there's dead people everywhere, it should be in that level of setup, especially in the cities. It was a bunch of taxis. No. So okay, let's continue on to this one.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he must be a gigolo.
People are gonna have to pick sides. They
Uh-oh.
are hungry.
They are hungry.
Angry.
Now they start becoming more masculine.
Turn on each other.
Uh-huh.
We will rebuild together.
And now they're making out with each other because there's no more men.
Oh yeah. Oh snap. Interesting. Next month. Okay.
Yeah, it's starting
Right
already.
around the corner.
So it's right around the corner. So that's the thing. It's like, yeah. So no guys. So what? You're just gonna have to please
So we
each
got
other, right?
one guy named York,
Name York,
with
the last Y.
last Y, and we just got just a whole world full of women. See, if I'm York and I figure this out, you gotta use that to your advantage. You can't get captured, because they're gonna use you as a guinea pig, and they're just gonna suck your nuts dry, literally and figuratively. You know what I'm saying? They're just gonna milk you and milk you and milk you, and then at that point, it's like, all right, we've gone through all the semen. Once he's dead, then whatever's left in the semen banks, So you gotta think you can't get caught, York. Can't get caught, because they're just gonna take your balls, and matter of fact, they might keep you alive till like you're 80 and just keep milking you. You know what I'm saying? They might have you out to dry. So that's one thing I gotta think about here for the show. If he's thinking right, don't get caught, York. All right. And number two, you need to find allies. It's like, look, these ladies gonna make me some guinea pig. Y'all get with me, you get all the D you want. See, there's so many things I can think of that makes this show really, really great. Sorry, I went off on this tangent, Mike.
No problem, man. No
Man.
problem at all. And talking about that, finding allies, he's gonna have to find some butchy women that don't like that are disgusted of the pussy, and
right, but they know they need him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Power.
but he needs that one, because like, yo, y'all ain't getting down with me. I need one to hold down while we going through and trying to save the world, because all these other women's gonna use me as a guinea pig, and y'all ain't gonna last without me anyway. So we gotta get down. So hopefully we can make another dude.
Or technically, he needs to stay away from the lesbians, because those people are gonna be like, well, wait a minute.
They might turn on him. Yeah,
They might need to kill him because they're like, we want the women now. We can't have this coming about.
Yeah.
So
He needs to get a whole bunch of beautiful chicks.
yeah,
He needs
a little
some,
more
like,
masculine,
actress,
feminine, but those beautiful women that are Amazonian, whatever.
IG models. You know, he
Mhm.
need to find the most daintiest, most feminine women he can find. And be like, yo, the butch women here. The Amazon women. They gonna take me out, but I can go handle these housely duties, and then we go at night or something. Do we got to do? There's so many things I can think about for this show. Man, this could be great if they do it right.
Yeah, and then looking back, right, like how just like when I watch it, one reaction video of these two girls, and it's just funny. There's going to be girls out there. Well, if all the guys are dead, more than likely we can just go to the sperm bank because a lot of the sperm is still left for these guys, right? They're going to come up with all these different excuses to kind of not talk about, well, how are you going to handle fixing the problem? They're going to look at the very micro things of saying, well, we can find a sperm here, or we can have that, or we can, and then. But the funny part is they're going to be like, well, there's that one guy. If we can get him, we're just going to use him pretty much as a bull and like straight up, just like you said earlier, milk him nonstop and then just implant it to everybody to kind of start stuff. But how do you know his sperm works well? How do you know, and looking at the sperm bank, if all the men died, maybe those sperm in the sperm banks imploded as well. So
oh wow, didn't think that's a mind fuck there, Mikey. Like knowing the male sperm, like
yeah, it just because they're gonna come up with all these different
like what if York's balls, like he survived, but what if his balls, like all the male sperm, like see, that's some janky stuff I'm thinking now. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, they're gonna have like probably that's gonna be like for second season. They got a piece of the sperm or something. So that's some girl condom into getting her pregnant. Like it's just funny. It's like all this stuff is happening. I think there's gonna be some good stuff about this, but just looking at that, this whole show is gonna have the narrative that women can eventually survive without men. It's gonna be tough, but they're gonna be able to survive for some reason with all those plants that are about to go explode and stuff like that, right? I'm sure that somewhere they're going to solve that problem and electricity will be back in order again. I think they're going to try to show that this is I'm not going to say it's my fear, but in a way, this is the whole feminist movement trying to prove, yeah, it's going to be tough without men, but we're going to be able to do it.
You know what I'm mad about already though, Mike?
What is it?
The last one ain't a brother. Come on, y'all. It'll have a lot more swag to it. It had a little bit more groove to it. If it was a brother doing these things, man, you know it, man. Come on, York. On, but it's supposed to be like something like Marcus or something, man. Come on,
Marcus would have been doing just fine. But if you saw the gentleman, what did they do to him? They made him look very feminine. Number one, he's got the longer hair. Number two, he needs that other woman to protect him. Like she had to whoop the crap out of those three other women, and then looks at him and says, "Run." Pretty much saying, "I got this." Why is it all of a sudden the last man becomes a more feminine man? That's my gripe with that. And sometimes people don't pay attention on that stuff, and I get it, it's still new, but that's my take. I'm like, you had to bring the only feminine man because for some reason he's the dude that's gonna survive. Wouldn't you have at least given me some dude that that's able to like live in the Appalachians or something like that? And for some reason, maybe because he was MGTOW and living somewhere in a freaking cave, that he didn't get exposed to all the some of the newest stuff, right? I can see it happening now. They're gonna be like, that's what's gonna happen with this with the vaccines coming out. This is gonna all the guys are gonna be sterile. They're gonna be gone. I mean, it's almost it reminds me of that one movie with Clive Owens called like Children of Men, where all the women became sterile or something, and the women cannot give birth anymore. And so, but then there was that one girl for some reason miraculously got pregnant and she had a child. So that child was the one hope. I think it's going to have that kind of theme, So, I mean, I think it's going to be an interesting show for me. What's your take first, if you don't mind, about the show in regards to?
It seems interesting. I'm just kind of curious how they're going to explain like what kind of virus or whatever it is that took all the men out. Like I'm kind of curious of that backdrop, and then why it only impacted the men compared to the women, and then of course the shenanigans of whatever adventures he's got to go through just to stay alive. Because like we know, like if there's one left, then there's gonna be like the class woman who want to eradicate all men completely, and then there's gonna be women in the middle, and then there's gonna be women on the other side here. Literally, it's like, yo, we need this dude. We want to love him. And there's gonna be like a gang who want to get married. That's what I'm kind of care about. They're gonna do shenanigans like that. Like, no, I this is my last chance to get married. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, the woman's gonna say that, then like who's the president now? Who's the madam president, the vice president, the military? How is that handled? That's another thing. Fighting the military, like as far as like other countries, will they explore that? I'm kind of curious too when they start getting to nut and bolts. Like, okay, we're in talks with Asia or Germany, and like, is there still wars going to happen? Like, are they saying there's going to be peace? Like, so many things. I'm kind of curious. Will they take that route? But it seems interesting. I might give it a try. See a few episodes to see if it can be, produced right, knowing I'm a man and how I would react in these scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna. I'll think I'll give it a good season.
Yeah.
I'm just curious,
Yeah, I'll
but
sit through it. Like there's not many shows that if I give the first episode in, I'll commit the first season. But if it's bad, it's bad. You know what I mean? I just
Yeah.
after like 3 episodes, I was like, I gotta walk away. And sometimes like I'll stay on to like if it's 6 episodes and that's too long. But like I'll commit to it. But if it's bad, it's bad. But if it's good, we got to come back and talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'll give it I'll give it a try, but like I just know there's got to be some dark, sinister women thinking about this show. Whoever wrote this,
Yeah.
my thing is like eventually they're gonna put this blame to men. Men are the reason why men disappeared. Like there's gonna be eventually, some like I don't know.
What if
some
it's like what if it's like a STD and then be like, see, all the men mess are involved and being a dog, and that's why they died anyway.
Exactly. And then, I feel that all of a sudden there's a bunker somewhere in the middle of Germany or something, and somebody rises up and be like, "Mwahaha, we did this to all the men. Now it's a bunch of men by themselves, and like now we can control."
What about the religious aspect to it? I'm just kind of curious how that's going to be in there,
Yes.
because you know how men lately, several decades in, are less involved in any kind of organized religion. It's more only the numbers are more women than men
Yes.
are in the churches. So you eliminate that aspect. So do these countries become more, tribal in their religion too, as well? Because you literally have something that's not going to default them away from it. This is going to this could be their saving grace, the way they think about it. That's one way I look at it. So who knows?
And just like I think with any problems that persist or that happens, there's going to be those religious fanatic sects. So there's probably like a religious fanatic, crazy women feminist group in this show. Then you have the butchy ones trying to take over. Right? You're going to create all these different packs of women that are going to start happening, and it's just crazy. It's just like she was talking about, like people are going crazy, people are angry, people are scared. All the different process that are happening. So,
And
but
just the
in the end,
natural thing, if there's no men here, just think about it. Just imagine like just the aspect of saying we're all gone. Take away the pros and cons. Just the aspect when you go outside that door, you're not seeing us no more. Just the basic human mind fuck of saying we're not seeing this no more. Take away what we do good and what we do bad or neutral. If I'm married to this person or whatever, I got a basketball game to go to, a softball game. No, I just know when I go outside the street, all I know I'm gonna see Susan and Karen and Marie and Sherry all day, every day.
and who's there to take the brunt of it when they're having their periods?
Just the psychological aspect that they're not even here, even though I don't like them, they're not here no more.
It's pretty much, I mean, because men are the largest amount of population in the prison system. This is literally just gonna pretty much just a large prison system that happens.
Just be empty buildings.
Exactly. So I'm just curious. I can't wait to watch it. I'm actually gonna, take a look at it. But anyways, so we'll just finish it off from here. But anyways, for you guys that are watching this video, just curious, what is your thoughts on this? We definitely want to be able to hear you guys. And also, guys, if you guys don't mind, do me a favor. Over here at the Integrated Men's Network, our goal is to provide you guys some amazing information, but also don't forget to stop by the Jump Off Live podcast and the Boxing Now podcast. We got the links down below. Please check Dave and the rest of the fellas over there. Totally appreciate it. So once again, guys, thank you so much. We definitely want to be able to hear from you guys. Have a great day.